Hello, hello. Welcome to the Healthy Sales Chick Show. I am Nancy White, the host of this show. And this show is all about our healthy mind, our body, and our spirit. And as my dear friend Paula Fillingham always says, and she is the founder of Win Win Women TV, we welcome you with open arms and open hearts. We love to talk about ways to nurture that mind, that body, and that spirit. And then sometimes you just might need to have a little cellular freshening and remake over. We can talk about that another time. But we love having amazing guests to share their gifts and talents and how they are really sewing into the world. And tonight I've got an amazing gal, Joanna Balboa, that is going to share with us some things about art therapy and some other amazing things. So, welcome, Joanna. I am so grateful for you to be here tonight.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I am thrilled to be here. I have been waiting for this moment all week, and I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, I'm going to share with our audience just a little bit about you, Joanna, because you have got
Yeah.
so many gifts and talents, but we can't talk about everything in our short time tonight. But just a little bit we're going to touch on. We're going to touch on about art therapy, women entrepreneurs, which is growing by the day, and women helping women. And just, a touch again about Joanna. She is an author. There's in my southern accent, an author, artist, designer. She's been a corporate executive and teacher. She has always pulled into the exciting world of abstract art and international wines. Haven't heard that too much combinations, but that sort of dates her back, from living in the days where she was on Long Island and working in New York City. But she spent several years in the wine industry showcasing her art all over various places in Long Island. She's also one of a kind original designer that is featured a lot on her home products and accessories, which are so many. We can't go over them right now, but you can find out later. But she has a newly published book we're going to talk about and share a little bit about. Divulge Divino is an entertaining and sassy wine and art book which discusses the origin of various specialty wines for those people that love the fruit of the vine from across the globe. She also has suggestions on food pairings and great varietals. And they're also a unique, one of a kind, for again, abstract art that's just gorgeous. I love painting and I do contemporary painting, but she takes it to a whole nother level. But also, Joanna resides in Tampa with her beautiful rescue dog. And if I mess up name, Chazarina, but anyway, but I can't really kill that one too.
Cadenza.
Cadenza. Okay.
Cadenza.
So, but she's always being inspired every day. And isn't that what we all want? We all want to become inspired. But welcome again, Joanna. So
Thank
grateful that you're here. And I just have to ask this question. What was it that just led you to this profession at this time in your life?
I never said to myself in by the time I'm 54, I'm going to end up in Tampa, Florida. It's a crazy, crazy thing. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, and I was always so happy being a New Yorker and so proud of being a New Yorker. And then COVID hit, and it really changed my life. I lost my career in New York City after 30 years. Everything closed down, all corporations closed down. I was laid off. I had to sell my apartment, and I was just in a place where I knew there was time to go a different direction. I knew I wanted to start over. There was nothing keeping me in New York. I was between jobs, I was between homes, and I really had no family left to speak of. So I said, let me make a fresh start. If I don't go now, I'll never go. So I really just impulsively did a little bit of research, not as much as I should have, but I knew I had to make the move quickly. And I said, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I just took the bull by the horns and I said, that's it. I'm going to go to a place where there's a lot of industry. That's why I chose Tampa, and it was the least likeliest place to get hit by hurricanes. So yeah, in Florida. So I figured I'd be safe here, and it was challenging at first, but it's getting much better. It's where I want to be. I'm making a new life for myself here, and I'm building relationships. I'm laying my roots, and me and my dog Querenza are doing very well here. So yeah, and it brought me to publishing a book, which is something that I had in the back of my mind for quite a few years back in New York, and I just never had the time, working full time, commuting back and forth. I just didn't have the extra time to put into it. And now that my lifestyle has changed here in Florida, I have a little more time. And I said, you know what? Now would be the time. I learned how to self-publish a book, and I learned how to do all the illustration myself and the editing. And that's how I came up with it. It was actually a wine blog that I started in New York. And it grew to 16 different wine reviews. And I said, I always wanted to turn that into a paperback. And that's when I finally came to Florida, and I said, I'm going to do it. Just like I said, I'm going to move to Florida. I did it. And I said, I'm going to start a book. I did it. You know,
I love it.
I was just determined. I was very determined. I'm a very determined person.
Well, I have to congratulate you, Joanna, because it is very courageous for you to just pick up and move to someplace, and then also to do your book and to do all those things. So I celebrate you, and just,
Thank you.
I just admire you so much. So just give us a little glimpse of what art therapy is, because I'm sure a lot of people have never even heard of art therapy.
It's a wonderful coping mechanism where you're turning your feelings into creativity. And it's really something that is a wonderful thing to do. If you enjoy painting, if you enjoy having time to yourself, if you feel you're in a stressful situation, or you really just want to unplug and unwind, it's a perfect way to really just settle down, come into yourself, and learn how to process feelings through creativity and through art. And it's a wonderful tool to have that you can have with you and take with you your whole life. Once you learn the basics, it's really something that will help you throughout your entire life.
Wow. And so are you helping people to, again, learn those basics, and to learn, even where to get started? I mean, because it's natural for you. It's just easy for you. But for somebody that has no clue,
Yeah.
that's one of the things is you have a gifting for.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for saying that. I was teaching students art therapy class at USF, at the college at USF, and it was a summer session, actually a fall session that I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was about a month long, and I had some great students, and it was very creative, a whole creative process, and we were all together, and we started off with a meditation, and then we went into what we were thinking, what we were feeling, and how would these feelings look if they were shapes and if they were movements, and let's see if we can transport it onto paper and just let it go. And it was just it was a wonderful bonding experience with my students, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I'd love to do it again. And teach somewhere else right now. So I'm kind of in the middle right now of whether I want to go, if I want to continue teaching, or if I want to get into possibly wine consulting. So I'm kind of, on the fence right now. I'm not really sure what I want to do. I'm working part-time remotely for the National Organization for Women, and I'm working as their communications and media manager. And I'm really enjoying that, but I need more hours to fill. So I'm looking for something else. So I might get into wine sales, or I might decide to go back to substitute teaching or teaching art therapy. I haven't decided yet. So
well, I think it's awesome, because I know you're going to be successful no matter what you do, Joanna.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
You've already proven that. And I can just even hear some of the things too that when you were talking about it. how art therapy can be used for a myriad of a lot of different areas, even with children or people that have
Mhm.
come out of abuse or just, different things like that. Just
Yeah.
when you use that word coping, that's something that in this day and time, so many people are combating things, but they're also coping with things that they've gone through. And I
Mhm.
think that, having this, like what you were talking about, the feelings and everything, what does it look like? What does it do? So I bet you could probably do a little bit of both and be very successful.
I
But
think so. I think so. And that's probably what I'm leaning towards. Just a little bit of everything, just to fill up my cup.
yeah, absolutely. So another area that we wanted to just sort of touch on, and already mentioned a little bit about it, is women entrepreneurs, because so many people are becoming quote entrepreneurs, and they really are very clueless about, if they've been working 9 to 5 and working for somebody, becoming an entrepreneur is completely different. And we talked about you're the boss of me, or I'm the boss of me, or whatever. But
Yeah.
share a little bit about what you have discovered as far as helping giving some women entrepreneurs some tips or some guidelines.
Yeah, well, I am self-taught at many things. When I started painting, I'm a self-taught abstract artist. I'm a self-taught book publisher. I tend to teach myself things. So what I started to do, and I think what's really helpful with anything that you do is just networking, 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 because the more you meet people, the more you get ideas, and the more it helps shift you into the direction that you want to go. And I think that's really what's helped me throughout my whole career, and my side hustle. As you know, I'm a corporate executive, but my passion has always been art. So it was always a side hustle for me when I was in corporate America. And that's when I started to do all the paintings. And then I started to figure out how to get my paintings and my designs on home fashions and accessories. So that's when I started my own Etsy shop. And that was really, really fun. And again, you're your own boss. It's a wonderful way to sell. And you can price it at anything you want to price it. You can promote it as much or as little as you want to. And it's a great way to get your talent out there. It really is. So I would say to other women, the best way really to learn about which way you want to go, if you're confused or you need direction, speak to other people, women, men, mothers, fathers, grandparents, whoever you can talk to. Um, don't stay isolated. That's the worst thing you can do. Talk to as many people as you can, even if you feel it's not something that has anything to do with you. You could still get insight from that person. You really could.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of resources for women entrepreneurs,
So
especially,
many.
yep, women's business centers. There's
Mhm.
school. There's, the Small Business Association. There's great women, just like you mentioned, networking groups where you come together and can collaborate and bring resources there. So, I think it's difficult sometimes, Joanna, for some women to ask for help. But
Yeah.
it's like we're going to be lifelong learners. How are we going to continually learn some things, find great resources to use and to share if we don't ask and make that effort?
Absolutely. You have to speak up. You have to learn how to speak up and be your own advocate. If you are not your own advocate, no one is going to do it for you.
Oh my gosh, that's sort of like self-care. Nobody's going to do it for me. Oh, Joanna, would
Yes,
you
amazing.
exercise for me today, please? you know,
Would you go on
but
the treadmill for me? Yeah,
I know. And would
exactly.
you please go to sleep earlier for me tonight? Yes. That is it exactly. But I think helping women again to realize that entrepreneurship has been going on for generations, and just but tapping into those things and learning how to. I don't personally believe that there is a balance, because that means you're not moving. I mean, you're sort of dead. And just like the level, when you put a level on something and that little bubble stays right there. I think it's really for myself is that planning, that prioritizing and pacing, scheduling in those things, having those foundations. If women don't take care of themselves first and foremost, again, like you said, nobody else is. And so helping women again to realize the things that they have to do in, whether it's moderation or whatever. Sometimes we just have to be able to let things go. If things are not serving us,
Yeah.
Women tend to hold on to things sometimes. And I heard a woman the other day, she said it so, I loved it. She said, I help people take their baggage and make it into luggage. And I went, oh my gosh, that's awesome. That means that they're taking that baggage, making it into luggage, and that luggage is going to be able to travel to the next exciting episodes. And so, but, and then just like we've talked about before, how have you seen the value of really women helping women, Joanna?
Well, I've seen it through corporate America. I worked for many female bosses, and I've really learned so much from them. Even my last boss of 12 years in Times Square, she was wonderful. Mindy Clements, she was the best, but one of the best bosses I've ever had. We were close in age, and she was a vice president, rising up and furthering her career, and she brought me with her. And I was just so, I just felt so relaxed and so where I belong in that role. And, it's having that kind of camaraderie with your boss and having that open door policy and women helping women. It was really, really wonderful. And I've seen it throughout my career. I've experienced it throughout my career in corporate America, as well as working in entrepreneurship. It really, really has. I mean, I'm on your show, here's another perfect opportunity, a wonderful opportunity for you inviting me onto your show, Women Helping Women, giving me the opportunity to talk about my art, to talk about my book. So it's really wonderful. And when you give to others, it always comes back to you twofold. It does. It comes back to you, whether you're giving to another woman, whether you're giving to another man, whether you're giving back to strangers, to family, whatever it is, it always comes back to you. It does.
I love it. And I could hear, and you were very blessed and very fortunate to have experienced that with Mindy, because not everybody goes through that. And so that was a great gift that you were able to
I was very blessed
and learn from. And I can tell, because you also paid it forward, and you're already paying it forward now. And so it's the thing, I think, we don't have ulterior motives. You don't have false intentions. You have a pure heart, and just, you want to really help. And I think that's incredible. And being vulnerable enough to say, I might not know everything, but I bet we could find somebody that would. And that's being another incredible help for women, again, helping women. So I know I don't want our time to go by too fast too. So tell me, really, you already shared a little bit about what is
my book. Yes, very, very excited.
I know, and I love
very excited.
The cover, because you even designed the cover on it. So
I did everything to it. This is one of my favorite paintings on the cover. And I really, this was my first time ever, diving into this kind of publishing work. And I did my networking. When I came down here, I joined different writers groups. And a lot of them told me about, I was asking about publishing companies and this and that. And a lot of them were saying they're so expensive. Why don't you do it on your own? And I'm very savvy on social media. So it really gave me the opportunity to promote it on my own, in my own way, on my own scale, as much as I want to promote, as little as I want to promote, where I want to promote it, to the demographics that I want to send it to, so it's really worked out for me on Kindle Direct Publishing. That's how I did it. And it's great because it's got 16 different wine reviews from wines all over the country. And in each chapter, I incorporated one of my abstract paintings. So it's not just really a wine book, it's also an art book, which makes it even more exciting. And it's done in a very conversational tone. It's a little sassy, it's a little fun, it's a little sexy. You know, it's fun. It's really fun. And when I was writing all the wine reviews, I was thinking of my members, and that was what was going on in my mind. My members and my friends from my wine group that I would promote this wine blog to, and you know, it was almost like just talking to them and talking about the wines that I learned about in different trade events in New York City. And I just needed somewhere to put all of this information. I did so much research. When I came to the tasting notes, and every time I did a wine review, I would go out and I'd buy the bottle and I'd drink it. I'd write a little, I'd drink a little, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time.
I
It really
bet, I bet you did.
was.
So I just have to ask you this question just because it came up. So what is your favorite wine, Joanna?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm Italian. My last name is Barbola, so I'm Italian, 100%. So of course the wines from Italy are the ones that knock my socks off. And I would have to say an Agnanico wine, which is from the Amalfi Coast area, Naples, Amalfi Coast, around that area. That's probably one of my favorite reds. And as far as my whites, there's some different whites that I like. I mean, I love the Poulet Fussé, which is the French wine. I love that, but I can always be happy with a good oaky Chardonnay. That's my go-to when all else fails. I go to my oaky Chardonnay.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I'm encouraging other women, especially, to listen to what you have already said, because, you know, when you talked about this had been on your heart, that you've been doing things over the years and you've just taken all that together and pulled it together. Women need to take action. They really do need to step out and just know that they can do it. And if they need to have some help, they can ask for it. Because we don't, at the end of the time, we don't want to say, I wish I should have, could have, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. So for these women that are on the fence, Joanna, how would you encourage them?
Oh my goodness. I would say do it. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, if you fail, it will only be a learning experience, and then you can go from there. But I would say if there's something that you really have been thinking about doing, but something holds you back, whether it's fear, whether it's time, whether it's family, whatever it is, if it's something in your heart that you know you want to do, you need to take action. You need to take action, and you need to not think about it anymore. Just do. Stop thinking and just do it.
Well,
that's what I would say.
I think that's fantastic advice. And so another question I would love just to ask you, and you can just think about it. And so looking back over the years and the times, we always think about the things that, I learned a lesson, and I don't think I would do that again. So, is there anything when you're looking back, as far as your journey too, that you probably learned, but you probably wouldn't do it again?
I would have to say, right off the top of my head, I would say after spending 30 years in corporate administration and in corporate America, I don't want to do it again. That's it. You know, I mean, as soon as I came here, I started a second career immediately, because I said to myself, I have done enough work in corporate America, and I don't want to do the same job anymore. I'm in my 50s. I want to do something else. I want to find something that I might find more enriching. I want to work with children. So I started substitute teaching, and I was specializing in elementary age students. And then I got into private tutoring, which was so rewarding and such a different kind of job than what I did for so many years. Of course, the salary isn't ever going to be the same as a New York City salary, but it's a different kind of job where you're using your different senses and different feelings, and it's just so wonderful to work with children. It's so rewarding in a different kind of way. So I would have to say that, yeah, it would. Career transition, if you're on the fence and you say to yourself, I'm so sick of the same job, I feel like I'm in a rut and I want to make a transition, it doesn't matter how old you are, because I did it in my 50s, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
I love
yeah,
it. I have a quote on C.S. Lewis: "You're never too old to dream a new dream or have a new vision."
you're never too old.
Nope.
That's it. You're never too old.
Yeah. And I think
Exactly.
it's amazing that you loved having that time, and probably in the future also sowing into the next generation, because children need to have role models like you, and they need to have people that really love and care about them and can share with them, especially with like your art therapy and their different things that you do with them, because you're giving them a healthy alternative. It's not technology in their face, and they're being able to use that creative skills and those talents that are buried that they didn't even know. So it's like, I bet you can see something. It's like a flower, a bud just blossoming when you
Yeah.
have worked with that demographic.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have
Absolutely.
my little connecting brain when you were talking about that, thought, I need to connect you with a gal that's in Canada because she's got an incredible business. So there's my little
Ah,
network
okay, wonderful. So
now.
what is it, a tutoring business?
She is. Yep.
Oh, I would love to talk to her.
I will
Absolutely.
definitely connect you
Definitely.
really
You've
together.
connected me. I have to say, Nancy, you have made so many connections for me. You have sent me so many different links to so many different networking groups and people, and it's just been you've been so helpful. You really have. You're like an angel sent from the heavens. You
Well,
really are. You've been so helpful, especially in my time of my transition and still trying to establish myself. You've just been absolutely wonderful. And
yeah.
I so appreciate it.
That's why women like to help women. And with that being said, I can't believe how fast our time is getting by,
Yeah,
too. So, what is the easiest, best way, Joanna, for people to get in touch with you?
absolutely. Well, Amazon.com, you can just do a search, Divulge Divino, and you can get my book. It's available in paperback and Kindle version. So that will come right up. You can find me there. I have an author's page on Amazon. You can also find me on LinkedIn under my name, Joanna Barbola. I'm also under Twitter under Divulge Divino. I'm on Instagram under Art Reflections Design, and I'm on Etsy under Art Reflections Design. So I think that covers everything.
I think, and we'll make sure you've got your information too, because that's the wonderful thing about having this time together, is that people get to have just a glimpse of you, but
Mhm.
until really they can get to know you and find out those gifts and talents, and also do some collaborations and doing some things, especially like you've already talked about, with the next generations, or doing some things with some demographics that have gone through some challenges, you
Mhm.
know, to
Mhm.
have that, I think is fantastic. So, well, I'm again so grateful for our time together, Joanna,
I am too. I am too.
and I encourage everyone to check out some of the other shows on Win Win Women TV. We've got almost 200 show hosts, and there is all kinds of subject matters and different things that you can come and learn about. And join us again next Wednesday at 7, and get in touch with me. Go to my website, The Healthy Cells Chicken, that's CELLS.com. And I've got a couple of free things, a couple of quizzes. One is about stress, and you can evaluate your own stress with some suggestions. And another one is an overall healthy thing. And I love celebrating when people are doing the things that they can do for their healthy self-care. When was the last time somebody just celebrated the good things that you're doing? That's what we need to continue to do for each other. And so, again, until the next time, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Nancy. I had a wonderful time, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.